Hey everybody, I'm joining you today from my home office, which is just the back porch of my apartment. Today's video is one that I think is very much needed, which is about the practice of mindfulness. And this video has been a good reminder to me to use the skills of mindfulness that I've been practicing. So what is mindfulness? Well, I got an expert to tell you about it. So without further ado, here is my colleague at Sullivan High School, Ms. Mathew.
Hello, today I'm going to talk about mindfulness and how to incorporate mindful practices into your routine. So I'm going to start with what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is when we focus with our full attention on the present moment without judgment. When we're able to do this, we're able to be more thoughtful and intentional on where we're at and how we're feeling. So a lot of times we're going through life not fully aware or on autopilot. When we're going through life like this, it's easy to project our past lived experience or anxieties onto our current perception of reality. But when we focus on the here and now, we're being intentional to not think about what could have been or what we're worried about. So, when we're able to create a little bit of distance between our thoughts and our emotions so that we're able to observe and not immediately react to them, that's when we learn how to respond to our emotions in a way that best serves us and helps us feel better. Because when our emotions are not just automatically driving our behavior, that's when we're able to take our power back and be more in control. At the end of the day, we are humans and we experience a wide range of emotions. It's important to not ignore the ones that feel uncomfortable, such as anger or sadness, but be mindful on how we respond to them. Even the most uncomfortable feelings can be a good source of information, whether it's where we need to heal or something that doesn't suit us or, what we need to do to be safe. How can we be more mindful on how we interpret or respond to a situation? The answer is we need to practice. We need to practice using different mindfulness techniques and practices that we can incorporate in our daily routine. It really doesn't need to be super complicated. For example, I can take 5 minutes every morning when drinking my morning tea to really immerse myself in the present moment and the experience and use all 5 senses to describe and observe, and paying attention to any judgments or distracting thoughts that may pop into my head, acknowledging them but not fixating on them and letting them float away and pass.
So we hear a lot about mindfulness these days, and there's a lot of research to say that it benefits us in a number of ways. So I'm going to insert some things here to talk about the ways that mindfulness can benefit our brains and sort of our behavior in the world. Some of the things that it can do is it can improve our attention. It can help us to regulate our emotions or keep our emotions in check so that, like Ms. Mathew said, we can separate our emotions and our thoughts and take a second to observe before we take action. We can have greater compassion for other people, and we can have a reduction of stress and anxiety, which, I know that I've needed in these past couple weeks. A lot of anxieties that we might have thought we had left behind from our younger days might be bubbling up to the surface right now, and that's totally normal because we are in a high stress situation, and mindfulness is one of the techniques that I'm using to try to help me through that. It also helps us to change and develop our brains. There is research that says the amygdala, the part of our brains that is associated with strong emotions like fear, that can become less activated when we do a mindfulness practice. And then there's also evidence around other parts of our brain which help learning and memory become more activated, and our prefrontal cortex, this kind of part right here in our brain that people associate with like maturity or growing up and making abstract decisions. That part of our brain can become more developed, so we're able to make better decisions. And there's still a lot of research happening, but right now what we see is that the research is saying that this is something that can positively impact our lives and impact our brains. So for my students, I would like you to try a mindfulness practice. And this is an enrichment activity. This isn't something you're required to do, but this is something that I think could be helpful, and it'll get you some extra points to keep bringing those grades up. What you can do for me is you can try a mindfulness practice. I'm going to give you some information about engaging those senses like Ms. Mathew was talking about, and that'll also be linked below and also in Google Classroom. I'm also going to show you some free apps that you can download to practice, and just send me a screenshot of an app that you've downloaded. Share with me your experience with mindfulness. And as you share your experiences, that helps me learn a little bit about how I can better teach and help you with this stuff. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'm really curious to hear about your mindfulness practice. If any of you are already doing it, or if you have additional resources, please send them my way. All right, bye.